I post. Someone said, "Hey,
We're good?"
Someone said, "Hey, can you do more of these with the IG stories?" And I was like, "Yeah, if you guys like them, like I'll do more." It's like I thought it was maybe too much because it's like a ton of stories. People are like, "No, dude, these are amazing." Like I had like probably 12 people slide up.
Yours are really good. You go super in depth on them, which is amazing. People love them. It builds brand.
Yeah, it's an easy way for me to pump out content.
It's a super easy way to pump out content, and typically it drives engagement. I think you should mix some more polls and stuff in there like that. But let's kind of. Obviously, we're starting the pod here. We're just in the middle of a conversation.
Yep.
Talking about marketing and what we do. But we started posting, and I posted more clips than you have, but we started posting, just some clips of us having a conversation because we have these conversations all the time. We're like, why not just film it and use it as content for our personals because we want to grow our personals. So we did that. And we didn't really have any like long form type full segment there. It was just kind of random conversations. But people kept asking I've probably got like 50 DMs of people just like, where's the full podcast? Where can I get the full pod?
I've had a few people ask.
Yeah. So that's what this is. Well,
the first day you and I met, that was
I've had the idea to
literally the first day you and I met, you were like, "Yo, I want to do a pod."
I've had the idea since about 2 to 3 months before I came to Miami of, it'd be great to do a pod. It's a really good way to get content for our personal brands. Is how I always thought of it. And we had a conversation that first day. He seemed like a dope dude. We got along really well. We were in the gym. We lifted hard as fuck.
Yeah.
And if you're lifting hard in the gym and someone else is lifting hard in the gym, the first time you meet, they're...
It's a really good filter.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we got breakfast after, and we'd known each other, for a year before that, probably just through Twitter.
Loosely, yeah. Something like that.
The internet. And from there, I was like, oh, I need someone on the podcast with me because I'm not just going to do a podcast alone. And then when I asked you... So yeah, that's the backstory.
It only took us 1 year.
We started it.
How many episodes of the old one did we record? Like
we had 3, but we didn't really like it.
Yeah, I didn't like
it. The vibe wasn't there fully. We actually did one with Solbra, but it just wasn't. I don't know. We didn't have it. We also didn't have Ben here to film it, and we just had a camera set up.
It was always a shit show.
It was not a
shit show.
It was not done right.
Yeah.
We didn't have the right format or whatever for it, and I think that has changed to a certain degree.
Yeah, and I think we don't know. We don't have a name for what this is going to be.
It's the Nick and Logan show for now.
But I think one of the things that I didn't like about what we recorded and really podcasts in general is I feel like, especially with, it's become a meme like, oh, we're going to do a podcast now because everybody has a podcast, and there's so many young people and I think it's great, by the way, like if it's people, oh, you have a pod, like fuck that, who cares? But I do think that there's a lot of young people that want to do stuff like that, and they kind of put the cart before the horse a little bit.
They don't have results, and then they go on a podcast and they try to give advice.
Yeah, they don't have life experience. They don't have like just enough to talk about from experience, and then it turns into like this weird advice giving frame.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give anyone advice.
I'll give people advice on the exact specifics of things we've accomplished, but typically I find that advice in general is too general.
You never even need advice, really.
And the majority of advice that's being given just on YouTube channels, on podcasts, whatever, typically can't help you unless it fits your exact scenario. So that's just something that I've seen.
Yeah, and also, like, I don't ever want to give people advice, which is kind of counterintuitive because I do end up kind of giving people advice, and then they pay me for it, especially with, like, the health stuff. But more than anything, just want to document, like...
We don't want to be self-help life coach people, and that's not what this podcast and whatever sit down and whatever it's more so you and I sharing stories and, insights about what we're doing that maybe people can take something away from.
Yeah, and I think that it's a much better way to just think of, like, I want to just document where I'm at, how I'm getting to the next level. Because I feel like everybody, like, kind of, especially in the internet space, like, they just, I don't know, they don't share the real process. I feel like there's a big like inauthenticity sort of deal. It's like everyone's just like showing the highlight reels.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
It's
I put this up in a IG post the other day. Maybe not the other day, like 3 weeks ago, where I was at the whiteboard and was just talking about what it actually, like 90% of the time, we're not on yachts, we're not at the golf course, we are not, at clubs, we're not getting drinks, we're behind the computer, at desks like this, at the whiteboard, talking to people on the phone 90% of the time. And it's not shown.
I feel like mine, I am like outside or lifting a lot, you know what I mean? Those kinds of things at the beach, like doing some sort of workout, etc., whatever. But yeah, for the most part, it's just, and that's so much of what you see isn't that.
Yeah. So let's jump into more of that documentation. Yeah. Something big happened with you recently. Body Optic is no longer, a thing. And you guys mutually parted ways in terms of it was good for both of you guys. No bad blood. But let's talk about that situation, what you want to do next, what you're actually building in the fitness world space, and what your brand is going to become, and almost where it's come from, because not everyone knows your story. So if you give maybe give a brief 5-point synopsis in 20 seconds, and then tell us what's going on with Body Optic and all that.
Yeah. So brief synopsis, basically I've always been a health and fitness nerd, basically driven by two kind of factors. When I was 15, I had Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune disorder, and that just really kind of catapulted me down the esoteric health nutrition world, because the things I was being told by the mainstream, by my endocrinologist, things like that, just weren't really helping. And then secondly, just by my desire to be a better athlete, like football, basketball, track in high school, played 2 seasons of college football, whatever. So just being a nerd there, ended up dropping out, whatever, to pursue. I knew I wanted to pursue something like internet, e-commerce related, which we both kind of started with. I want to be a drop shipper. Everybody wanted to be a drop shipper in 2017. So pursuing that, wanted to pursue music in some capacity, and wanted to pursue the fitness training world, because I was sitting in college seeing these guys that were growing the OG big pages, and I was just I could do way much better than this. I feel just with the depth of knowledge and experience. So dropped out. Actually worked for the original ATG team. So it's knees over toes guy, flexible, with Connor Barth, all those kind of guys when they were all together. I worked for free for a while, probably a month and a half, 2 months, and then they hired me full time. I was doing personal training. I was running a women's class. I was running a kids class, and got more into the online stuff, selling my own programs on an IG page I had built. I think that still has.
Maybe you worked at an e-com agency.
So I left doing all that to then go work at an e-com agency. And
then you did your own program.
And that's when, and I just realized doing e-com full time, I just missed it because I love it. So I just started posting stuff, and that happened to be on Twitter, mainly because I like that. That community I genuinely fuck with, everywhere else, they just get it. A lot of people don't get it to the full scope, but the Twitter community as a whole overall kind of does. Especially with the more schizo side of just how I think about the world. So yeah, just started posting there, and it turned into me building a following because the information was good and people liked it, and then I dropped a product. And then Kevin and I became really good friends. We had complementary skill sets in the fitness world. He's a really good sprinter. I'm more of on the lifting side, whatever. So we partnered up, and it was great. It was a great, Kevin's still a brother to me. Nothing really changes. It just, more than anything, man, I think to scale a company and to do a really good job, when you have a business partner, you have to have, and we were complementary in different ways, but like we were doing too similar of a role, I think overall. And it just doesn't make sense to keep going at it. So nothing really changes. I still need to figure out like exactly what the direction of it moving forward is, or like what I'm going to call it, which is a menial, doesn't even matter really.
Just like this show.
Yeah, but just the format for helping people get really, really good results, because I have like a very kind of elite approach to just helping people do, especially with some of the more like joint health and really deep nutrition and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, man, just kind of figuring that out and figuring out. And my preface has always been, or at least it's always tried to be, obviously there's always, some sort of like selfish reasons to do business. Like you're in business to make profit, but more than anything, always tried my best to at least, really help people get phenomenal results.
And
so
I think that's
just reframing that a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
That's a point I want to touch on, because we're building this coaching program right now.
Yeah.
Launch Socials, which is our coaching on how to basically build your personal brand and monetize it properly, which is what we've done at our agency. And I think me going through the roadmap that we're doing with people and the actual, videos. And I talked to one of our, customers, one of the people that purchases, and I'm like, oh, I need to film a video on this like right now and add it to the course, because it's a question that can just be answered by the program. And that really is the results driven mindset, because if we don't get these people results, they're going to want their money back. And that is consistently what I realize is people are always like, oh, go get the money, go get it. But you also need to make sure the people that you're taking money from are getting the result that is promised, because I see a lot in our space. But people will sell these programs and sell these courses, but people do not get the results that are promised and that are sold to them, and they end up, freaking out, right? And you made all this money, but you didn't actually help anyone, and it's going to come back to you in some way. And that is something that and you can make more money. The more you help people, the more money you will actually make.
It's far and away the most important thing.
Absolutely. And if you focus on that first, of does this product actually help somebody, then if the answer is yes, it's going to sell really, really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's far and away the most important thing. And it, like for me, especially too, like for my path of doing these things, even though I've always known that the information and what I'm actually doing is great, like especially too as you grow, there's a lot of like, you inevitably are going to run into like doubts or overthinking or, just like almost like imposter syndrome to an extent. I think everyone does, especially as you grow and get bigger and do more. But that's like the one thing that you can always hold on to. If you really can do that, then you eliminate all of those problems. You eliminate all the overthinking. And that's something that I'm, and there's been people that maybe like haven't, everybody shows you their good clients, their best. Like, sure, there's probably some people that like weren't enthralled with, the job maybe I did for them or our company.
It happens all the time. We have had clients leave. Not all the time, but we have had clients leave.
It's just the nature of business.
We do not, there's simply no reason for it. We don't know why. Or they just don't, film the videos or whatever that we work with them on, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, but I feel good about, like, the people that were there and engaged. I feel like we always did a really good job taking care of them. At least that's how I think about it. Obviously, maybe a little bit of bias, but yeah, man, it's if you can hold on to that, like everything falls into place.
For sure.
I think.
And that also ties into the frame of authenticity and being who you are and actually, delivering. Because at the end of the day, most people are good people that actually want to get results and don't just want to take money from you, money from people and like run off. How do you think authenticity plays a role in brand building and selling products and whatnot, and personal brands especially?
Like for me, I feel like it's been everything. It's because I think people, I post a lot of like really good information and have like a solid I guess, system and I don't know, for getting people the results that they want.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's why anybody buys anything from me.
Okay.
I think that, or maybe obviously there's scenarios, but like the vast majority of it is people that just like really like relate to kind of my mentality or I guess outlook, and they like that a lot and they want to foster it kind of in their own. Yeah, I think it's because there's so many people that do fitness, right? And there's so many people that don't do well with fitness, or they try to do it and it just doesn't work. And it's like, that's because it's just fitness. They don't have anything else. There's no differentiation. It's saturated if you approach it that way. Like, oh, I'm just going to post me. It's also very like, if you don't share who you really are, it's actually the most self-centered thing you can do, which is really
expand on that.
Like, if you're just like to really connect with other people and to help other people in any capacity, you have to really kind of express what and who you are, I think. And so, like, for example, and the only way it makes sense in my head is through the lens of fitness. Like, if you're just posting, you go in the gym and
you're just posting you flexing and you doing bicep curls.
You working out and you shirtless, like, you're not.
You just want people.
You're not.
You just want the attention of people. You're not actually providing any value.
Exactly. You don't actually want to help anyone else, and so it's kind of like a self-centered frame from that regard.
And 100%. And usually, those are the people that don't grow.
They don't grow at all.
The people that do grow are the ones that give value by documenting. In fitness, for example, documenting their growth. For example, people that are going on a cut and about to do a bodybuilding show. This huge one, right? They document it, and people are like, wow, like, that's inspiring. I could do the same. Another one is, just entertainment. There's a lot of people blowing up on TikTok right now due to entertainment. Even YouTube, some of the newer kids in the fitness space, our age, actually, kids, whatever. Yeah. But they're blowing up just due to entertainment. Value is very interesting because a lot of people perceive value as information and how to go from A to Z, whereas a lot of times value could be inspiration, it could be entertainment, it could be something completely different than this is how you do this.
Yeah, and I think like it's funny because like I've posted tons of like threads and or just like long form, content like that, but that's never what sticks with people. It's typically what sticks with people is like me in the fucking Migos clout goggles or me just being a dumbass.
And that's really your brand, is like being the personality, right?
Yeah.
Mine, I felt more so that people will resonate with not the value that I bring, but me telling stories and telling the story about like how something happened, and they derive a lot of value from that of like, oh wow, like wait a minute. And then I attach the like this is what I did to accomplish this. Well, on the back end of it.
I think that that's a really interesting point because there's a lot of especially in internet marketing, there's a lot of like I just kind of got derailed by my thoughts. Let me gather what I'm trying to say.
You're good.
There's a lot of say that again.
I was talking about. Yours is a personality, right? And that's where people attach a lot of their connection with you on. You're just loud and just you're putting yourself out there.
It's just raw energy.
Where most people will never have the courage to do so, and they love that in you. They look up to you for that. It's inspiring that you're just being yourself on social media as loud as possible, because most people will never do that. And I was saying, from a storytelling aspect, I'm typically the content that performs best for me is me telling stories about things that are happening.
Yeah, so that gets me back to where I was. So I think there's a lot of, in the internet marketing space, there's like an aura of this is the secret sort of mentality, like
there actually is no secret, but
there's no secret. Exactly. And so I think when you can, like, if you can document that process of just like, here's where I'm at, and people can actually relate to it and have that sort of like, oh wow, like he's not that different, you know what I mean? It works so much better because there is no secret. Like if people want to, and you see it all the time,
there's
like,
I guess the formula, it's called a formula that I see over and over, or what I did, right?
Yeah.
The first, there's really two problems you have to overcome as someone that, this is how I look at it. Two problems you have to overcome as someone that wants to like start a business or accomplish anything. And it could be the gym, it could be, we were talking about it today at the course. I was talking with Ben like about golf, right? How it's so similar to, and we might be in the new YouTube video, so similar to business and so similar to the gym, where the first problem you have to solve is, okay, how do I get, like, what's my goal and like how do I get there? Like what am I actually doing? And once you solve that, the second problem you have to overcome is all of the bullshit lies that you might tell yourself and like the procrastination from doing the work. So it's like figure out how to get it done and then just do the work. And those are the two, that's the secret, right?
Like it's super simple, but it's not easy.
Correct.
Right? And so then, but when you can share that relatability aspect and people can understand and kind of connect with the idea that anything that they see someone else doing that they can do, it becomes much more impactful because then they actually go and do it, versus like a lot of people I feel like try to market and build brand by, you know, having this like secret or having this like pay me for this trick, you know, and it's not true. Like it's just not.
Entrepreneurs hate him.
Here's how I'm getting 20x ROAS on all of my ads. You know, it's like, dude, no, it's not like that at all. And so when you can share that journey, it actually helps way more people.
100%. And you build a real authentic brand, and everyone wants to give you their money.
Yeah.
Because that's you just are actually valuable, and you have something, and you have an aura about you that's been built. So we dove into a bit of a tangent there. We talked about Body Optic. We talked about your story a little bit. I think a lot of people know my story as well if they watch my recent YouTube video. If you haven't, it's all in there. It's probably the best place to watch it. It lays it out. I mean, yeah, sure, I'm plugging my YouTube, but like that lays it out very, very well visually as well. So it's like scroll to like 8 minutes in, you're good.
Disregard me being a dumb fuck in that video too.
But we've covered all that. We kind of dove into a little bit of what we're doing right now, but I want to get into, and we talked about this before, like what are we going to talk about on this? I think it's a brief, introduction to who we are, because people don't fully know if they're coming from IG or Twitter. We both have decent presences there. I probably have like 20, 30K total followers. You have 35, and so you're probably double what I do.
Yeah.
But people don't fully know our stories, and I think we covered that. I want to talk about what you're thinking on a day-to-day basis right now. Where's your mindset at? And I'll obviously touch on it as well, of like where mine's at. But where's your mindset at on a day-to-day basis for the last month? Where's Logan at? Where's his trajectory? What is he looking at? What is he thinking?
Yeah. So, man, it's funny because everyth's very cyclical, right? Like, and for me, it's been a process of iteration, and now obviously I'm heading down it's just like, it's really nothing different, but just structurally just changing some things. And what I've been thinking about
cyclical in what way?
It's like, dude, I've had the exact same thoughts that I've had for the past month for probably 3 or 4 separate periods of a month over the past 3 years.
Okay, I am the same way.
You know what I'm saying?
Where kind of every year I'll revisit these same things, but it's a level above where it was the previous year. It's
spiral dynamics, right? And you're at the same point, but with way more perspective. So if you're looping around, it's like a circle.
And it's exponentially going up.
Yep.
Over and over and over. A way to describe it, I guess, is like seasons of life.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good way to describe it. Where you dive in.
Like a spiral staircase.
Yeah.
Right? Like imagine a huge lighthouse, and you're walking up a spiral staircase. At any point going up those stories, you're going to be at the same like latitude, longitude, vertically, but you're a story ahead of where you were before. But you were thinking the same thoughts when you were down there. And so it's been a season of just really kind of reflecting. I mean, always and like right now, especially too, as I move to really like expand and do more and build a bigger presence. It's always like kind of the same culprits, just like removing the wasted time and attention and energy from things that don't serve me. Really double down on what I know I can do, and I think that, and just executing on it, because it's been really interesting, right? Like, I think about it in the lens of like what I'm doing. There's really not much to life, right? There's basically, you have how you're going to take care of like your health and your fitness. There's how you're going to make money. There's what relationships you're going to foster
and remove.
And there's how you're going to be like creatively or spiritually fulfilled. Like, that's how I think about it. It's really that simple. And then you just allocate time to those different things and start being really intentional. And so I'll kind of break it down that way. Like, gym wise or health wise, you know, I have like lofty goals, and I think also too it's been like widespread because I want to do so many different things in my own performance. You know, I want to be big, but I also want to be, you know, super athletic, and I'm like doing all of these things to a degree.
I realized this last year where we were training MMA a lot, and it just it distracted me from business, and it distracted me from my goals in the gym.
It's a huge energetic commitment.
Right.
We haven't trained in probably like 2 months now?
It's been a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was probably because a couple of people got some kind of
the guys
infection.
got staph or whatever. Just took some time.
Yeah.
Took some time off, but it was really good.
And that for me, I realized my goal in the gym is I want to put on more muscle, and that's really my main goal. And doing that takes away from it. But I want to revisit it in a different a different time, maybe in like 6 to 9 months from now, after I've reached this goal that I'm currently pushing for.
Yeah, it's not 6 to 9 months for me. And I think I always kind of had more of an affinity for it.
You do for sure, because you want to fight.
Yeah, I would love to. But like it was really good for me from a business lens too, because it's a huge energetic commitment. Like, you go,
absolutely.
Every time we would go for grappling and striking.
You're there 3 to 4 hours.
You're there
total.
for 2.5 hours actually at the gym.
But it's a full commitment of 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, and it's the most exhausting thing you do. And also you drive over there, you got to prep for it. It's mental prep. It's like 4 or 5 hours out of the day by the time you actually wind down. So yeah, I'm going to definitely revisit it probably sooner than 6 to 9 months from now, but it was really good to just step back from it and just kind of assess where I'm at. So like gym wise, you know, just getting back, and a lot of these things, man, it's about, a lot of the game is removing your ego from things and, really just like attacking from where you're at. So like in the gym, you know, I have all these like different, I almost let like the aspirations of what I want to get and the loftiness of it like kind of hold me back a little bit.
Get in the way of doing the work?
Yeah, for sure.
Why?
Because
or in what way?
Especially like there's so many ways, and I'm always like trying to, especially with the business I run, kind of off of that, right? I help people with their bodies, so I'm like constantly testing stuff and playing around with like the better idea, and there's really you always have to just execute. And then the same thing with like business, right? Like the biggest, and this is kind of what's been our bread and butter in terms of our actual skill set, is making stuff putting content out that people love, right? Whether that's you with IG or me just like with my various stuff, or as we look to get onto TikTok, look to get into YouTube, and really just like
posted my first TikTok, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Me too. I posted the White Boy Summer edit and
got
like 400 views. Yeah.
TikTok is a little weird sometimes.
Yeah, it's whatever. The banger video though.
Yeah.
But like even that, you have to remove your ego and just kind of start with where you're at. You know, like
remove expectations, I think might be a better way.
Expectations. That's a perfect way to put it.
You asked me like, oh, how'd like the YouTube video do? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really have any expectations. It got like 300 views maybe.
Yeah.
I gain like another 50 subscribers or whatever, so I'm at like 100 subscribers. But like I don't expect anything because I know the crossover from Instagram and Twitter to YouTube is pretty much nothing. So some people will watch it. It's cool, but it just means you keep pushing. The first video felt good. If it was cool, okay, you keep pushing. You need 20 out, 30 out before it really starts to become a thing.
Yeah. And so the reason I said too, remove your ego, is because like for me in the gym, like especially like I have a persona that has been publicly presented, right? As like this guy, or I have this results, you know what I'm saying? And so then posting anything that's like less than that, or what feels like less than that, is hard to do. It is, right? Like, oh, you know, I didn't get this. And for me, it's never been like a weight, like, oh, I'm not as strong as I want to. I've always had the strength aspect, right? Like that's walk in the park for just whatever in terms of my lens. But just like as I look to keep, you know, getting more athletic or look better or do any of these different things, removing the need for it to be like perfect or like on par with what I want to present. Like you have to remove
the perfection aspect.
Yeah,
of it.
to do different things.
And we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah, to do different things, you have to pull out that need for it to be perfect. And it is egoic because you want to protect like what you think you are in your head, and that always holds you back. Or in the lens of like business, like for us to go and take the next step and become people who are actually, you know, like have a big presence in the world, which I think is the most leverageable thing. Absolutely. Everyone should be like, people look at, oh, I'm like building my personal brand.
Well, I talk about it all the time because you have to build your personal brand. That's what we do as
how are
agency.
You not in 2022?
An agency, right?
How are you not?
But then it's like, I'm not building my personal brand like that. Why not? Why am I not? Mm-hmm. You know, the amount of money I'm able to make is literally 100x if I just build my personal brand.
Well, dude,
like
that's everybody should have that view. I don't know how they don't.
But imagine me, my personal brand, and our agency builds personal brands on IG, and I don't have 100K followers. Imagine what me with 100K followers on IG could have done for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
For our agency, we would have made 10x the money.
Yeah.
The ClickFunnels plaque would have happened in 2020.
Yeah.
You know, so then it becomes a like you said, a leverage aspect. And to me, leverage in business is really just a multiplier. The more leverage you have, the bigger multiplication you can do on what you're, you know, the amount of money you're making, or the amount of followers, or the amount of whatever metric that you want to, you know, multiply.
And leverage, I think, is really nothing but just compounded effort. But so I think about it too, like in talking about that like ego piece, and this is kind of just what I've been thinking about recently, right? Like, you know, I like to put out the content that I need to become the person that I want to be. On
social media or person in general?
I think they're the same thing.
Agreed.
There's no difference.
They're the same thing for us. And they're the same thing for the people that are our clients and the people that, you know, join our coaching, because that's how we think about things and that's how we show them to think about things.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people, it's two separate things.
It shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be, but some people are completely different on social media that they are in real life. And you meet them in real life and it's like, dude, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, people met me in real life and they saw me on Twitter and it's like, oh, you're the exact same.
Yeah,
and that's how it should be.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like I have that as well. But even still, like posting stuff that maybe, I don't know, there's just a need for like, you know, to look
let's
good.
Talk about it.
Or
the
like,
bags under your eyes in the video.
Oh yeah, like it looks so tired.
But who cares? Who cares?
And this is an interesting point because I care, and I think it's not you, because you really do to get anywhere in life. You have to like remove this idea of what anyone else thinks. But I also think that I partially care because I know there's things that I should be doing, like really prioritizing sleeping, and I don't, or I haven't as much as I need to.
And then
reflects.
But you actually posting it then acts as a reminder, or like a kick in the ass of, dude, go sleep.
Well, it breaks that ego of what you think you are. You know what I'm saying? And it reinforces what you actually are.
Yeah.
And
It's interesting. Like one thing, like I don't really like my voice on camera.
Really?
I think I sound different than I do in person. But
It's so funny.
and I think you might have something similar. I don't know.
There's always like little things that we care about.
But then it's like,
but none of them matter.
But then it's like, dude, that's just who I am. So I'm going to post the content, even though it doesn't matter how I sound.
Yeah.
Just post the content, make the video, post the picture, do the stuff. Because if you're posting it and someone else isn't, you're going to win because the attention's going to come to you if you're doing it the right way. It doesn't matter how you look or how you, in terms of, I mean, it matters how you look in the scheme of like, what's the angle, what's the frame.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter how you look in terms of, do I have bags under my eyes?
It doesn't
Like,
matter.
is my hair messed up? None of that really matters. It's all dumb.
But it's just funny things that that we do have to eliminate in order to grow. So yeah, man, I've been thinking about that, and just because I know, like, looking back on it, it's so funny because we do things, we fall into these unconscious patterns, and like if I would have been posting,
or humans do in general.
Humans do.
Okay.
And we're human.
Sure.
Obviously. Like if I would have been posting 7 videos a day, which is very easy to do.
Mhm.
Like if you think
It's a
about
lot, but-
what it actually takes to post 7 videos
Are you talking
a day.
about 7 unique pieces of content or 7 videos across multiple platforms where you can reuse videos?
It doesn't matter, dude.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
You could sit with your phone right now. How long would it take you?
There's a point of diminishing return.
Let me make the point. You could sit with your phone and say 7 different things on camera, and if I would have been doing that for the past 2 years, probably have everything I want right now in life. Period.
So what happened to a video a day in June?
Well, obviously,
Twitter.
there's been just changes at Logfits Incorporated,
Yeah.
and so I mean that probably it's definitely something that I want to do. But yeah, man, I've just been like in a phase where it's like just getting back to the basics, really.
Gotcha.
And really figuring out what I can do to just, like, it sounds cliche as fuck and kind of corny, but like just actually help people at scale.
Yeah.
Because that's all really like life is, and that's all making money is.
For sure.
But that's also building relationships, and that's also,
Back to the basics, but like the basics are what gets the actual results.
yeah, always.
Now I'm waiting for you to ask me.
What are you
What
thinking
I'm-
about? Yeah, what are you thinking about? Cash flow.
No, really, I've been thinking about, and this has been kind of a theme over the past month, but pressure and like putting pressure back on myself and putting more pain on the situation that I have and trying to stay uncomfortable and not get comfortable. You know, last year I was investing consistently,
Mm-hmm.
but I would always have lots of money in my bank account. And it was just like, whatever, like I'm chilling. And it allowed me to be way too comfortable. So something that I did recently is keeping barely any money in my bank account, like 10,000 max. And everything else is just being pushed into investments or back into the business.
Yeah.
Right. And it feels, it hurts sometimes because like a credit card bill will be paid or whatever, and the account will go negative because I dropped $5,000 into the investment account that week instead. And I'm like, dang, I need to make more money. And they'll go make more money and it'll be taken care of, whatever. And obviously going negative, like I'll take care of that. That's fine. It's more just a mechanism in my mind to push myself harder. So I'm really thinking about that, putting pressure on myself. And that's just an example, but additionally hiring up to the limit. So bringing on, another page manager, bringing on multiple new editors, bringing on more copywriters, bringing on potentially another really, really big hire. We're not going to talk about it on the podcast. Bringing on, Ben as, in terms of video for us doing this podcast and stuff like this. This is stuff I've always wanted to do. And I could have done it 6 months ago, maybe even a year ago, but I was too comfortable. I was like, I'm just going to keep this money here. It should stay here, blah, blah, blah. Whereas if I just doubled down because I knew that stuff worked, the money comes back to me tenfold, 100-fold. So really it's putting my pressure on myself to max out right now. That's really what I'm been thinking about a lot.
Interesting. Yeah, it's that's an interesting topic because I think that I've had aspects of that. We're just like reinvesting money back into growth, whatever. But I think the pressure angle for me, I don't think it even like I don't function that way. I function a little bit differently.
Okay.
Like for me having like I can't. It's not as much of a motivator to have that like negative reinforcement, if that makes sense.
I gotcha.
I prefer like especially too as I look at my work habits or me executing.
You like a pillow, a cushion?
I don't even know if I would call it a cushion. I just think that the more I can think in terms of like doing that, I think pushes you into a mindset of what am I going to do right now?
It solves my problem. My problem, big picture, I have no problem. But it solves my problem of maybe a little bit of procrastination here, some laziness here, going out to dinner when I could do some stuff that builds the business here. It fixes that for me. It forces me to get the extra things done that I should have been doing the whole time.
Yeah, and for me, I have a different lens of like, if I am able to think more, like for me, because I know when I put my head down, and you've seen it, like when I really put my head down and focus and I'm in a routine like that, like I get a lot done, and it's really effective.
What do you think breaks that routine? Like, why stop doing that if it's working for you?
And that's kind of the crux of what I'm saying right now, I guess. It's like me just being able to think like long term and what I can do consistently. Because I think a lot of times I have stopped that because of like that pressure in a sense of, oh, we got to go do this or like make money now for it turns into like, okay, what can I do to make money now versus like what can I do to what can I consistently do for the next year every day. I
get that. I think the difference is that I have that set up with our business where it's like we have the employees set up where I could take a week away.
You have a lot more systems behind you.
But I could take a week away and it's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But if I have and that's the problem. That right there is the problem. I could take a week away and it's fine and it keeps going, but we just stagnate. We don't advance.
Yeah.
And there's the reason that I want to apply that pressure is because if the pressure's applied, then I advance. I advance astronomically.
Yeah. And I think that's the difference is that I am still like I am my business in a lot of ways. So it never really helps me. Or at least historically it hasn't.
For sure.
Versus
especially as a personal brand because, you know, we work with people or have worked with people. We don't work with people that do this anymore. Like if they do it, we can't work with you. But they'll go from selling one product to selling a completely different product because they need money right now. Oh, I'm going to affiliate for this. I'm going to affiliate for like, dude, why don't you just sell your one product and focus on the one product and make a ton of money with the one product?
Yeah.
Oh, no, like I need money today. And it's like, dude, if you just have a 2-3 month time horizon, you're going to be fine.
100%.
But the people that do it on their personal, you can fall into that with a personal brand really well or really badly if you have too much pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so like that kind of, and I have taken like risks or just like done certain things like that, like just pivots away from what it's like just shiny object syndrome more than anything. And so I think just like being able to have that long-term consistency and it's not comfort because I don't look at what I like. I like to build from like that more, like I said, kind of positive thing of like I just love doing the things that I do. And so like removing that pressure to just freely create, I also think it creates a much better frame of reference of where, because like ultimately being of service to other people, again, it's how you make money, period.
Yeah. Like
no matter what. And having that just like wherewithal to kind of be able to think about giving more to people, I get better results doing that, I guess.
I love it.
What else have you been thinking about lately?
How are we gonna get paid, bro? And, obviously, always thinking about that because it's just what business is. But I think another thing I've been thinking about recently is more so how can I stay locked in like this for as long as possible. Still pondering that because, inevitably, and I also think it comes down to who we are as people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm more prone to stay locked in longer, I think, than most people, because I do enjoy the process of what we're doing. And I actually think maybe the answer to it is building the personal brand. Because the personal brand and putting out content, although not nerve-wracking at first, but it's like you're breaking ego at first. Once that's done, like, dude, no girl wants to come to my Instagram and watch one of my reels. No girl wants to watch this, right? I'm not going to hit up a girl in the DMs and she's going to love it that I'm posting reels, right? But
it's on a long enough timeline. They will, which is hilarious.
Probably because you have hundreds of thousands of followers, whatever. You have clout, whatever. They love clout, whatever. But you break that. And then it becomes super, super fun to post these, and it's become super fun to connect with people, and then you share your story, and they're like, hey, man, like, I didn't know that. It's super cool, blah, 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 whatever. And then eventually you start getting customers from it, and you start building your business from it when it starts to mature. And I think locking in on the personal brand, something that – because you don't just start it and then stop. You don't stop the personal brand. Once you start the personal brand, it is forever. You can't stop posting on Twitter. You can't stop posting on IG. You can't stop posting on YouTube. You can.
What do you mean you can't stop? You absolutely can.
You absolutely can, but I don't think in terms of keeping you build a core audience, you don't want to stop posting because you'll lose that momentum. And that for me is maybe the answer of like staying locked in forever, because it's something I super, super enjoy, because it not only builds my businesses, it's that net positive there, but it's something that I've actually thought about forever, because I was still selling cars.
Mm-hmm.
It was beginning of 2018. So I started selling cars in 2017. Beginning of 2018, I actually bought a camera. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to vlog, blah, whatever. And like I tried it and it was cool and whatever, but it wasn't, I didn't have enough value to give because I didn't have enough life experience, kind of how what we talked about earlier in the pod.
Yeah.
So the frame of it was super weird, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, because I didn't want to be like those other YouTube guys that are just doing super clickbait titles and stupid stuff like that. So it's really come full circle, because I tried to do that before I tried to do dropshipping. And before I tried to do IG pages. I was trying to film myself on camera, like building the businesses or whatever. And looking back, I should have filmed some of it of, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing, I'm starting my IG pages, blah, blah, blah. But if I was trying to do it consistently, like a vlog kid, like YouTube kid, whatever, it wouldn't have worked. So it's super cool for me that this has come full circle.
Yeah.
Because we help personal brands grow on social media. It's what we do as our business. And it's something I always wanted to do. And now it's here, now it's happening. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It in terms of like me staying locked in forever, I think a big piece of that's going to change when I move to the beach. Because like for me, if I have the environment, I feel like a lot of times your environment kind of creates your life. Like, because dude, emotion to me, like when I look back at everything that I've done so far and what's worked, what hasn't, throughout the numerous different business ventures or working for other people, like I've seen a lot. And for me, what's always worked better than anything is just understanding that like emotion really like drives this world, and having that raw, unfiltered energy. Like if you start from that place, everything else like coagulates around it, if that makes sense. And so when you are in a place where you are really like genuine and happy, and you're approaching things from the lens of really helping people and doing these different things, like you're in an environment that you love. Like I look back on my most productive times in Miami, right? And there's like a few seasons of life that I think about, like when you and I were here every single day, like grinding, like that was super productive. Ultimately became unsustainable because I don't know why it became unsustainable. I think we just broke the habit more than anything.
I went home to New York for a week, and then the habit was broken.
Yeah, and also too, just doing it, like, I love to be outside, you know? And so I think back about other times where I've been super locked in like that. And there was like maybe a month period where I was at South Point every single day. And like, my life was just perfect. I'm walking 2 hours a day. I'm outside, fresh air, hop in the ocean, have a good place to work, the kava bar, like, just post up, great Wi-Fi, everything I need. It just flowed, you know? And so I think for me, just like the move to the beach is going to be great because I think it will give me a lot more flow. Okay. Having a place where I feel good, like our apartment's just not fit to work in.
It's not bright enough.
It's not bright enough, and
you don't have the room for desks.
And yeah, and the layouts, yeah, just like it doesn't have a good workspace. And honestly, I don't even know if I like working from home either. I like, especially when we're on the internet, like, gotta get out of the house, dude. I feel cooped in as a motherfucker if I'm in the house all day. I hate it. And so like chasing that environment that allows you, because if you get the environment right, that allows you to have the energy that you want to really just feel great and have that sort of creative flow, I think everything kind of self-regulates. It turns into exactly what you need. Versus like in a lot
of... It's an input-output situation where the correct inputs create the correct output.
100%. And like people try to, it's so funny when you think about like bad habits too, and eliminating bad habits or just recurring things that you do that you shouldn't. The habit, like it's never really the actual habit, because you can, like I did the, you know, obviously ended a little bit early, but like not taking anything, like, you know, not having any coffee or not like smoking any weed or not, you know what I mean? Just like these little elimination things made me realize that you can't, like, you have to, there's always going to be a void, right? And you need to not try to eliminate the habits, but just fill the void so that you don't even care.
It's really, it also comes back to, I can tie it into big pharma and what they do with medicines and stuff. They try to cover things up with, you know, pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah.
Rather than preventing the actual problem, because it makes them more money.
Yeah.
In this situation, it's a little different, where you'll go take a substance or you go do a certain thing to fix the bad, or it's like a bad habit, right? But it's in a way it's covering up what's actually preventing you from doing what you want, or
the exact. I think this will sum it up really, really well. Discipline, like being disciplined or being consistent, it's never really never really the problem, right?
The problem is what you're doing and not liking it or liking it. Because if you like something a lot and it's really good for you, you'll do it over and over and over. Yeah. But I tweeted about this the other day. It's not about, like, I'm not disciplined. People are like, oh, you're so disciplined, like you just get all your work done and you're really successful and you're doing this and that and you eat healthy, and it's like, well, actually, those are just like the inputs that create the outputs that I want, and it's super fulfilling, and I enjoy the entire process.
You enjoy the inputs.
I'm obsessed with the inputs and the process, so it's easy to do. I'm not disciplined.
Yeah, and if you love the inputs, like you never worry about discipline or consistency or like breaking your, you know, like staying locked in. Like that shouldn't even be the fucking question. The question should be aligning your environment so that you can have the energy that allows those things to flow. And I think that more than anything is like
something that's on your mind.
That's where I'm at. Like even just like this past week, dude, like we've had fucking this faux hurricane, and in my 4 years of being a Florida man, like the hurricanes are never what they cracked up to be. I still haven't gotten a good one yet. Really? But I'm okay with that. That's, you know, Mother Nature, God, if you're listening, we don't need the torrential.
It's also a little different for us because we're up here, and
I've seen all these videos of flooding. I was like, I mean, it's just raining. There's nowhere. I can't go to the beach. I can't go outside, so I'm not gonna go out. But I see all the videos of flooding on social media, and we're just up here. We're not affected by it at all.
Yeah. But so it's like, I think about, like the past week it's been pouring rain. Mm-hmm. That impacts me because I want to be outside. I want to be walking. I want to be in the sun. And it's a piece of my brand, obviously.
Yeah.
But so I don't think about how do I foster the discipline? It's like, how can I just align myself in the position that it's inevitable? Like, you're just doing things that you love. The process is something that's enjoyable.
The right setup.
It's all positioning. Life is
the right setup creates leverage.
Yeah.
Because if you are building a very similar business to your competitor and you have the right setup and they don't, you win every time.
Every time, because it just allows you to outpace them on a long enough timeline. And so man, that's like really kind of what. And obviously, I'm like restructuring a little bit now, and just figuring out what that looks like, and figuring out how I can find that flow more than anything in the environment to flow.
Facts. It's been a decent amount of time. I don't know how long we've been talking.
I don't know either. No idea.
How do we want to wrap it up? Any like final points that we should make on this first episode of the Logan and Nick show?
The Logan and Nick show. Man, I would just say like, we'll see if this is something that people do like.
Yeah. And if they do, we'll continue it.
Yeah. Honestly, even if they don't, fuck them. We'll just keep.
Yeah.
It's good for us to document a little bit.
Probably once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And the people that were requesting it over and over, you better listen to this. I don't know why you're requesting it and you didn't listen.
Yeah, I think as we keep doing it, having specific things that we talk about would be good. Just like hone in.
For sure. I think this is a really good first episode of just where we're at, a little bit of intro to us, what we do, how we're thinking currently. Future episodes are definitely going to have topics.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Go deep and really like actually have some substance and some depth to it. But yeah, man, just if anything, like if you're watching this, just trying to share what's working for us as we go to reach the echelon.
And don't get us wrong, guys. Like, we're doing this as well to grow our personal brands and social media. Not just
like people.
It is a mix of we're documenting, but it's also we know if we put content out, we will grow and we will develop an audience that we fuck with as well.
Yeah.
Because it's super cool when someone DMs you and is like, "Hey, bro, this is like I don't know you, but this is super inspiring." I got like one of those today, and I was like, "Dude, I'm small on social media. I don't know what I'm doing that's crazy special, but I appreciate it. It's super cool, and having the people with the same energy that you're just able to talk to is great."
Yeah, and I think people, like there's a weird stigma around it, like
around what?
Around just like content, or it's really more than anything probably a reflection of people that can't get deep enough into like who they are to feel comfortable sharing it. Mm-hmm. But there's like a weird stigma, like, oh, he's posting this, whatever. Like, dude, we're doing it to grow our audience. But more than anything, dude, I make shit and put it out because if it sits in my head, it'll kill me. To not like, it's such a good forum for getting your brain out there and like grow our personal brands. Like, dude, to me, growing your personal brand is just a reflection of who you are, and it's the most effective medium for displaying who you are in the modern world.
It's an extension of your brain. So instead of saying it to one person in person, you are saying it to millions of people at one time.
Like, why would you not use that medium to share who you are in 2022? You're just like, you basically hate success or money or opportunity or.
On that note, if you would like help growing your personal brand, www.launchsocials.co, link in the description. We will help you.
Very tasteful plug.
Of course.
But yeah, man, I think that wraps up the first episode.
Where can they find us? They probably already know where to find us, but if some random person is now watching this, where can they find us?
We hit the Explore page. Mine's at LogFit6, so LOGFITZ 6 on
All platforms.
Twitter, Insta, TikTok.
All platforms.
Soon be YouTube.
I'm all platforms at Nick, NICKRGRS, which is an abbreviation for my last name.
Rogers. RGRS.
Yes. Nick RGRS. All platforms.
Cool.
So, yeah, links in description for all this stuff, everything that we're doing, everything that we're about. We'll probably do another podcast next week. Our boy Ben will be filming it with all the lighting. Good job.
You better be a good girl and chop this up right now.
Okay, relax. And thanks for watching if you did watch to the end. And we'll see you next week. What's up, dude?